How fragile are the human testicles designed to be? Among the many design flaws of the human body, the one that really makes people hurt is probably the male testicles. Such an important organ is actually hanging outside the body without any protection from bones or muscles. If external force hits, there's basically no buffering zone. What's worse, it's full of nerve endings. A light tap can instantly trigger pain, confusion, stiffness, fear, and other debuffs. And this kind of pain is not the same as ordinary pain from falling down. It is a kind of pain that can even crash the brain along with it. You can only relieve part of the suffering by screaming. Most adult men have two testicles with a volume between 12-25 annuli, about the size of a pecan. The testicles have their own egg chamber, scientifically called the scrotum. There's a physical separation inside the scrotum called the scrotal septum, so the two testicles can't even meet each other. In other words, they live in a standard two-bedroom apartment. Even testicles can live in a two-bedroom home. How about you? The average weight of a single testicle is 15 to 25, and the two don't weigh the same. One is heavier, one lighter, and their positions aren't exactly the same either. For most people, the left hangs lower and the right hangs higher. There are no two identical leaves in the world, and there is no man with two perfectly symmetrical testicles. Alright, everyone take your hands out and listen to me continue. Logically speaking, this external hanging design of testicles is very counterintuitive, because once they are injured, the great task of reproduction basically goes bankrupt. Remember, the primary mission of genes is reproduction. So why is such an obvious design flaw still preserved until now? The answer is actually simple. It's all for cooling. The active temperature for sperm is 35 degrees, which is 1 to 2 degrees lower than body temperature. This means the testicles can't be placed inside the body, like other internal organs. They can only hang outside to cool down. In fact, during the fetal stage, the testicles are inside the abdominal cavity. As development continues, after about 28 weeks, they gradually move downward, drop into the scrotum, and eventually hang outside the body. And to cool down even further, the testicles have many other designs. For example, if you observe carefully, you'll notice the skin on the scrotum is always wrinkled, rough, and folded. This increases the surface area to help dissipate heat, even though it doesn't look very pretty. There's also a muscle responsible for pulling the testicles, called the Cremaster muscle. It helps adjust the egg path. When external temperature rises, the Cremaster relaxes and the testicles drop lower, farther from the body to cool down. On the contrary, when the temperature drops, the Cremaster contracts, pulling the testicles upward, closer to the body to stay warm. So everyone, don't wear overly tight underwear. Besides being uncomfortable, it might also prevent the Cremaster muscle from contracting properly, which affects temperature regulation. The testicles have two core functions. There are two production lines inside. One makes sperm, the other makes testosterone. Testosterone is essential for us men, genital development, growing beards, Adam's apple, strong bones, developed muscles, all rely on testosterone. Without testosterone, even Zhang Yidi could look like a delicate woman in the mirror. But if testosterone is strong, even Lin Dayu could yank out Lu Jishin backstage. Also, testosterone increases men's competitiveness and drive, like a mental buff. If you have sufficient testosterone, you'll feel energetic doing anything. And when doing physical work, you'll have horsepower like when Shang Yang died. When reading and studying, you'll be like Xiahou Dun doing math, 10 lines at a glance. But it's not correct to say that the body offers zero protection to the testicles. Although they lack physical protection, they're well protected by magic protection. The testicles are one of the few organs with immune privilege. What does immune privilege mean? If we think of the body as a country, then the immune system is the military, responsible for identifying and eliminating bacteria, viruses, and other invaders. But in this country, some core facilities are extremely important and fragile, like the brain, eyes, and testicles. If the military starts firing inside these places, even if invaders are removed, the facilities themselves would be destroyed. So the body evolved a strategy to set up special protected zones for them. The immune system can enter but must behave. The military is allowed in these areas, but operations are strictly restricted and they can't fire lightly. That's why the brain has the blood-brain barrier. The eyes have the blood-aqueous barrier, and the testicles have the blood-testis barrier. These barriers are made of tightly connected cells, like a high wall, strictly controlling immune cells and molecules in the blood from entering these privileged zones. Of course, as mentioned before, the blood-testis barrier is magic defense, and the physical defense of the testicles is rounded down to basically zero. So when you're horsing around with friends, never attack each other's testicles. Protect the testicles, everyone is responsible.